Hey everyone, it's Amy Lynn Durham, and you're listening to Create Magic at Work. Create Magic at Work is on a mission to equip senior leaders with tools they need to be a true quantum leader and actually understand what that means. Improve employee engagement, retain top talent, and transform your workplace culture to have less drama and stress. So let's start making magic. Hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Create Magic at Work. And today I have someone that I've invited on the show to talk about quantum. Quantum what? Quantum leaps, quantum leadership. That's where we're taking Create Magic at Work, is into a quantum leadership space. So what does that even mean? And why are we even talking about that? That's going to be more of the themes of the episodes coming your way. So I invited Gavin Conway onto the Create Magic at Work podcast to talk a little bit about this, because he helps people make quantum leaps in their life. And we're going to get into that energy and what that means for you. Gavin is a sales and mindset mentor and coach with Conway Consulting, which is a world-class international sales and mindset company. His motto is to manifest with peace of mind. How cool is that? To be able to bring things into your life without stress or worry or wondering if it actually is going to appear at some point. I can't wait to talk about that. Gavin's on a mission to help people, coaches, leaders, entrepreneurs with sales, and to step into their most powerful self, master the art of selling. If you're thinking, hey, I'm not a salesperson, not true. Every single person in their life has to sell whatever they're working on. I don't care what it is. And Gavin, I really want to talk to you about that. His approach combines mechanics and harmonics, and he believes that a true quantum leap happens as a result of a change in self-perception, identity, and aligning yourself to a set of powerful universal laws and principles. Can't wait to talk about the universal laws. Gavin, welcome to Create Magic at Work.
Amy, hello. It is so wonderful to be here. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. And thank you for inviting me onto your podcast. I've been so excited here. So really, really looking forward to this. And just congratulations on this new season and this new theme. I think you're really going off into the right direction here. So super, super cool. So thank you so much for having me here, Amy.
Yeah, happy to have you here to talk about this discussion. I'm really excited about it. Do you want to add anything to share with the listeners about you, who you are, what your mission is?
Yeah. So, you know what, really, I've been on this journey for about 10 years. It's been a real journey of personal and self-development, self-understanding, and really changing how I see myself and to empower myself and really to learn to trust and have faith in both the power greater than myself, but that also is a power in myself. So this has really been part of my journey. So I want to help other people to also do that. It's like learning to let go and learning to trust and step into your most powerful self all at the same time, because I think it's all connected.
Yeah, I think that's really great for a lot of reasons, but mainly what strikes me the most is you are walking through the journey yourself.
Yes.
And I think that is very important for leaders, people, coaches, that you're not asking anybody to do what you have not done yourself or have not experienced yourself. And that really is the call for leaders. And I'm not talking about, well, if you take the trash out in the office, I need to take the trash out. It's this inner work. It's making sure, like Brian McCormick said on one episode, my side of the road is clean before I go to clean up your side of the road.
Yeah, for sure.
I really want to highlight that. I think that's very important that leaders understand it's their duty to look in the mirror and make sure their side of the road is clean and do that inner work.
Yeah.
So I just want to straight up ask you right now, what do you think, just to get people into this quantum feeling or quantum space? You know, when I was in the workplace, we never used the word quantum leader. Like, what is that? Is that, I remember the show when I was growing up. What was it called?
Quantum Leap. That was the name of the show. If you search Quantum Leap, you get a lot of
okay.
Scott Bakula, whatever his name was. I don't even know what his name was.
So let's kick off. Like, what do you think a quantum leader is? And what does that mean?
Well, I think quantum is like a new paradigm. It's like a new
Okay.
way of seeing the world or seeing reality or even like understanding it. And some of the qualities of quantum is that it's non-linear. So
Love
it's
that.
not step by step by step. It's like, can we move there to a destination as quickly as possible, or a vision that is actually bigger than what we've had in the past? And just bringing that into form, I think, is one way I see quantum. Another way I see quantum is like it's meaning. So it's like what's most meaningful, what's most valuable. And my mentor on this taught me that, which might be a little bit outside the box here, but that's quantum as well. So is that it's almost like the universe responds, or the quantum field responds to what's most meaningful for you, what's really in the heart, as opposed to just what's in the intellect and what reason can produce. So I think quantum has a few elements there of nonlinear, speed. Can you just go to another destination like instantly? So yeah, and that the meaning and the heart is what's going to cause the quantum field, as a word, to respond.
So if I'm here listening and I'm thinking about my life and
Mm-hmm.
what I want it to look like, or what I think I want to be in the future
Mm-hmm.
as I'm continuously aging, and it's like someday,
Mm-hmm.
someday I will be like Oprah.
Yes.
Someday I will have this beautiful home with this swimming pool. Someday I will travel to Egypt and see the pyramids. I'm just giving people some visuals here. What you're talking about identity shifts, and you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about how do I make a huge leap in a quick
Mm-hmm.
way to bring those things into my life today rather than sitting in the someday. So, what is required of that? I'm driving in my car right now to work listening to this, or I'm cleaning my house, and it's like, how do I do this?
How do you do what? Have an identity shift? How do you do quantum?
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about, well, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
How does the identity shift tie into this leap I want to make to this future self I want to be?
Yeah. So, like, a true transformation is an identity shift. And this is what I've seen in my own experience, is that when I was growing up, I'd covered up my identity. It's almost like an unveiling of your true identity and then really embracing that.
Mm.
And embracing it and going with it and going forward with that and growing into that
Mm-hmm.
person. So a lot of what's in that true identity is your heart. It's what's most meaningful and valuable for you. It's like the dream you didn't pursue. It's the thing that you're called to, but you just haven't acted on. You've like resisted the idea. You've either kept suppressing it or pushing it down. And the identity is like, well, who is the person then that's living and being that? So that's what I see as the identity shift. But at the core of our identity is our values and what matters most to us and who we are. So part of uncovering what your identity is to start to look at your values and what's most meaningful for you. And that's a good guide to find your true identity.
Yeah, I would say to that point that I think some of us feel tension or unhappy where we are today in our lives because we aren't necessarily fully living in alignment with our values
Mm-hmm.
or haven't identified what they are,
Mm-hmm.
what really means the most to me, or we're living up to maybe someone else's definition of what success is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And question for you, because I struggle with these theories and these themes, where's the balance between understanding that there should be some uncomfortable energy or feelings through a change and a shift
Mm-hmm.
versus sitting in stagnation.
I don't think there is a balance, Amy. I don't think there is. I think those are almost like the two, they're like two opposites there. There's either one or the other. So you have to be willing to get uncomfortable to have a quantum leap. It's actually one of the principles. So
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love that.
Why are you uncomfortable? Well, you're uncomfortable when you have to think about doing something new or stepping into a new version of yourself. And it's even uncomfortable sometimes to honor or stand up for your values or what you believe is right. To say, this is who I am. So getting uncomfortable is part of the quantum leap experience, like a willingness to do that.
And what's the payoff at the end for being uncomfortable?
What is the payoff for being uncomfortable? Well, you get to your destination. So the reason we're uncomfortable, people get uncomfortable, is because it's like the unconscious mind is saying, hey, this is new. Like, I want you to just stay safe. I want you to be in this homeostasis. I want everything to be the same. Like, that's the natural, the very natural psychological pull to just keep everything as it is and actually to be the same person that you've always been for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, however it's been. But if there's a part of you, you're like, you know what? I know I can step up and do more. I know I can do better. I know I can be a better leader. I know I can lead with more heart and emotion and meaning and vision. It's scary to do that often. So this goes back to having like a certain like strength of character or a willingness. And as you get uncomfortable, you actually develop your character as through the actions, and you do the movement towards what's most meaningful for you and for the greater good, or the people that you're working with, or the team you're leading, or the organization that you're leading. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. My question was, what's the payoff for being uncomfortable and moving through to have the courage to take the quantum leap, to be uncomfortable, to go through that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the payoff, Amy, is that you start to realize that you're more powerful than you ever imagined. You have the ability to live in a world that's different than you're currently living in, and that there's way more of your potential that you haven't realized or expressed.
Are you a passionate, high-achieving executive at the director level or above who feels like you've lost yourself? Are you feeling called to go to the next level of your leadership? Could you benefit from going beyond EQ and deepening your spiritual intelligence so you can solve your everyday problems to make better decisions for yourself and your team while maintaining inner peace? I can help you tap into your own inner magic and elevate your leadership in my private one-on-one coaching program. To apply to work with me, click Work with Amy in the show notes, or go to createmagicatwork.net and click Work with Me. I look forward to seeing you.
What's the downside to just staying where you are today? Hey, Gavin, I'm happy with my pay, my job. I'm fine. I could just do this for the other next 20, 30 years. And it's like, whatever. What's the downside to not moving into this quantum leadership, quantum space of self-discovery and leaping forward to the ultimate person you can be?
Well, being stagnant is almost like a bit of an illusion, because the universe is moving forward. Life is moving forward. Time is moving forward. So you're either expanding or contracting, or growing or shrinking. So even though you might feel safe, like somewhere deep down, you have to just inquire and ask yourself, am I not doing something that I really should be doing with my life? We spoke about values, but there's also something called a values violation. If we're in a violation about what we know is most important to us and meaningful, and we're not expressing it or being in alignment with it, like inside, like we start to shrink.
Okay.
So yeah, really, like, so that kind of the self-worth piece, the feeling of empowerment, like slowly ebbs away over time.
I love that feeling of empowerment. If you don't take these moves of self-discovery or wanting to live fully in alignment with your values, and really what you're speaking to me, I mean, in SQ, spiritual intelligence is your life purpose. We do a values hierarchy exercise, and then we kind of rank those to help you reference those throughout this season of your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do with my clients. And they can refer to that when they're making big life decisions. And so it really helps them stay away from what you call a values violation, because they have these stack ranked values that they can lean to when they're making big life decisions. And so it keeps them in that lane of moving into feeling empowered. And that's what we really want everyone to feel, because if you feel disempowered, you really are just kind of like a robot. You get up, you have your coffee, you go to work, you clock in, you tap out your Excel sheet or your emails, you go off, you go to dinner, you go to sleep, you wake up the next morning, you do it all over again. Quantum leadership, quantum is, what's my ripple effect? How is this impacting businesses from a humanity level?
Yeah.
And the key with the work that you do and what you're talking about is that it starts with me.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of leaders that I see that will bring in consultants, experts, etc. for their team, yet they haven't weeded their own backyard. And so I want to transition the conversation a little bit now to, I think we've really made that point well. And the payoff, yes, weeding a yard is hard work and you get dirty. Mm-hmm. However, at the end, you have this beautiful yard full of flowers. So that was sort of like, that's the metaphor I'm using for the payoff of this quantum leap. You're going to end up with this beautiful life, or this, since you've weeded your own backyard, and then your energy will ripple out to the people around you, because you have this beautiful energy because you've weeded your own space. Mm-hmm. And that's with all of this, just to pull us out of the metaphor and take us back. That's what you and I are trying to help people do, because we're going through the journey ourselves and we see what happens when we pull those weeds with our life.
For sure.
Transitioning a little bit to, you help people with their business and you help them with their sales. And, all of us are in sales in some form or another, whether you think you are or not, you are. We're always selling something.
Yeah.
If it really breaks down to it. So tie that in. What is this quantum leadership, quantum coaching, making huge strides in short periods of time? What does that look like for business and for sales?
So when we train our clients on sales, so we do have them have a look at themselves first. Are they in alignment with what they're doing, what they believe with what they're selling, but also helping them to see, or help the client or the prospect to get in alignment with what they want. And then are you and the prospect also in alignment, in harmony, which again is harmonics, quantum as well. It's like the energy field. So that's one part of it. So it's not just the process of selling. It's about the energy field you create when you're speaking to people, and also understanding and helping them to really uncovering what the prospect is also desires to have. We see ourselves as we're like facilitating the possibility, the desire, as has been defined by Bob Proctor. He said, desire is the unexpressed possibility within, seeking expression without. So is there this desire, this emotionalized want that people have as salespeople? We're helping to bring that forward, whatever that might be. So that's how we see. We almost see sales from a process perspective, but also a bit energetic, metaphysical perspective as well. So it's unique in that way.
Okay, so if I'm like some boiler room guy listening to this right now, and he's like, what is he talking about? Like, I'm going to go close this deal right now, hardcore. My close rate's super high. What's this energetics thing? Why do I need that? Mm-hmm. And what is that? Can you give a tip to the listeners on how they can access the energetic piece with the client?
Well, the thing you want to understand is that it's like a decision to buy something is an emotional decision. Somewhere down deep unconscious has been an emotional decision saying, to say yes, I want this, I need this. So often people think it's the thinking, the reason, the reasons to say yes is the reason that somebody says yes to something, but there's an emotion that sits beneath it. So we help people to really communicate with that part of a person, or a prospect. So you said a boiler room person selling, what are they selling? Boilers?
No, it's a movie.
Oh, it's a movie.
Where,
it's a movie.
Yeah. Oh, you got to go watch it.
I'll have to go watch it.
It's a movie where they do hardcore sales, over the phone, cold calls, things like that. And there's no scene in there where they're tapping into energetics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or thinking about, So, if I'm going into a proposal, or if I'm going into a sales presentation, what's something I can do that gives me an edge over the competition? And this is what I'm getting at. This is something that could be their secret weapon that no one else is using, like tapping into energetics. Maybe they have everything else. So what's one thing I can do to tap into the person's emotion?
Well, it's asking the questions. It's really in the early part of the process, asking questions to help uncover really like what they want and why they want it, but don't just take the surface level. It's like the 5 whys, for example, just to kind of dig a bit deeper into the emotion, the feeling that's driving the need to want whatever they want to have. Like, what will that give them?
For those listening that don't know, what are the 5 whys?
Oh, the 5 whys is you just keep every time you get an answer, you ask why. So it's like, why is that, right? And the idea is that you actually get down to the truth of what sits underneath, like the real reason, the real answer when you ask why 5 times. You might get there after 4, you might get there after 3, but it's to keep saying, well, why is that? Why is that? And just see where you end up. When there's no more answers to the whys, that's the answer.
And then at that point, you need your tools to overcome objections or tap into helping them step into becoming their best selves.
Yes, that's right. So, but we like to say the close is just a natural part of an excellent presentation. So usually, there are objections that come up, but in the ideal, beautiful presentation or conversation is where they just say yes at the end, because they've connected to what they want and they know that you can help them get it.
Yeah, cool. Okay, Gavin, I am going to pull a journal prompt card for you and all of the listeners today from the universe. This is a universal law. We're going to talk about universal laws. The universal laws are things really, or spiritual laws and spiritual intelligence. They're something that you actually have to test yourself and try it out for 30 days to see the evidence of it in your life. And I like to use these cards because I think they back that universal law that we always get the card meant for everyone when they're listening that's supposed to receive the message, as well as you and me. So this card's jumping out. Oh my gosh, this is cool. Okay, so we got creativity.
Okay.
And the affirmation on the card for everyone is, I make time to daydream and let ideas take shape into my reality. I make time to daydream and let ideas take shape into my reality. I wrote this affirmation because I wanted people that were feeling burnt out in the workplace to understand that making time to daydream, to play, to feel childlike actually brings in innovation and inspiration and helps with that fast quantum leap, time leaping, shifting to who you can be by daydreaming and letting ideas come to you rather than grinding all day. So, Gavin, the question for you is, this is cool because we talked about self-empowerment. And so the question on the card is, what are some ways that we can empower ourselves and others? So if you want to share a couple of ways from your quantum leap perspective on how I can empower myself or someone else.
The starting point, I think, really is to have a vision for yourself and let your mind go there. That card's about getting into the creative flow, really, is kind of letting your imagination go there. And lots of people can't even do that. So if you can't even do that, I want you to sit down, just relax, breathe, and just let your imagination go out there. And then if you start to take a step towards it, like how do you build a sense of empowerment? You have to take action. That's what I see. This is what I see. It's like you have to start to move, which is also another part of quantum. Like quantum is about movement. There's like a forward movement to it. So taking steps that empower you because you know you're moving towards something that's important for you, which again has to go back to the values piece. If you're taking steps and expressing and in harmony with your values, that is in itself empowering, but it might be just uncomfortable. There might be some discomfort at some points, but it's empowerment, taking those empowering steps, empowerment through action.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, empowerment through action, and maybe uncomfortable action, and maybe just the smallest step you feel like you could take one day. Maybe some days you can do more, maybe some days you do less, but you're still taking a little step. Gavin, thank you so much for being a guest on Create Magic at Work. This was a super interesting conversation and very different than some of the past episodes. So I hope the listeners really enjoyed it as far as getting everybody thinking, hey, I can maybe have this life that I'm envisioning I have in some future, and maybe I can start working on that today rather than just thinking someday. I think that was the big theme that came from me. And another thing that's just coming up for me is let's remember to enjoy where I am at today. I think we get caught up in these future visions that it takes us away from presence. And really, when you end up at the destination, you're there and it's done. So we have to remember to have presence and grace and gratitude for where we are today as well. I just really want to remind everyone of that and share that. Gavin, if someone is interested in this whole quantum leap type transformation, how can they get a hold of you? How can they connect with you to check out your work?
They can email me at gavin@conway.consulting. And I'll also provide a link as well to our website here as well. So that's how they can do it.
Perfect. Yeah, all of that information will be in the show notes. So if you're listening, you can just look in the notes of the show and all the links will be there for you to check out. And Gavin is active on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. He does some fun videos that you can watch that help you deep dive into who you really want to be in a faster way.
For sure.
So Gavin,
awesome.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast and for sending magic to everyone today.
Thank you, Amy. Magic to everyone. Thank you so much. I love it. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, it's Amy here. Thank you for listening to the latest episode of Create Magic at Work. And please come back often and subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Keep joining us for more exciting episodes where we help you transform workplace culture to systems that create less drama and stress and have high productivity and profitability. You can get your own tools for the workplace at createmagicatwork.net. I have a new Create Magic at Work, the journal that just released, and it invites you to reflect about different themes for work and your career. Each section of the journal contains a topic, an affirmation, and 2 prompt questions to help you journal your thoughts. Topics are like inspiring others, mentorship, expansion, and productivity. Connect with me at createmagicatwork.net. Also connect with me on LinkedIn under Amy Lynn Durham. Sending magic to everyone, and see you next time.